Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make this shaggy dog cake. That's right, it's a cake. My shaggy dog cake started out as just plain old regular chocolate cake. I have a couple curved pieces like that one you see in the back. I cook those in a Pyrex mixing bowl, the glass mixing bowls. You can do that. So yeah, keep that in mind. What I did, I have the piece, the round piece there. You see how I cut the edges off? If you need to back it up or pause it or something like that, go ahead and do it. Just cut out those sections as I did the rectangle, the two edges off the front and side. And I cut that top piece off to make it a little flatter for the center. This little round one is, I think, a 6-inch mixing bowl, Pyrex again mixing bowl that I use to make the head. The back is going to be the body. You can see it's two stacks of, I want to say 10-inch, and then, a larger size mixing bowl I had. And I made a bunch of different sizes and shapes and kind of just put them together. The big part in the back is going to be the body, the two legs, and then the front legs with the head on top. Once you have the general idea, it does not have to be perfect because that's where, filling it in with icing or gum paste or whatever is going to help out. Just start giving it some icing. Just fill it in, kind of crumb coat it, dirty coat it, whatever you call it. Coat it in icing. Ideally, because this dog is white, I would have used vanilla, but the people ordered chocolate and I was doing it for friends of mine, so I was like, I'll just do it and see how it turns out. And it turned out cute, so I'm like, okay, now it's going to be video. So anyway, ideally, it would be a white icing underneath the dog and the dog's fur instead of the chocolate you see here. But you see the two pieces, I have it angled so that it's wide at the back and then narrowing toward the front of the head. And the back legs are the opposite. The narrow part goes toward the rump, and then the big wide part comes out toward the front. When you ice it, it's going to be messy. As you can see, it might fall apart a little bit, like you can see. Just, do the best you can. I'm going to show you how I made the paws. I made them out of gum paste just because I am very, very comfortable with gum paste, in case you guys never realized that before. And so I use gum paste, as I said. I just made a circle, kind of thick, as you can see. I'm using the back edge of my knife to cause 2 indentations at the top. This way he's going to have 3 toes on his paws. I'm matching it up with the other one underneath so that his back feet are going to be about the same size, because, it's always nicer when they look like they belong to the same animal. But the same idea. It's maybe a 1/2 inch thick, 3/4. It was pretty darn thick, I gotta say. And again, the 2 little marks to give him 3 toes, because when you're doing this was for a first birthday, and when you're doing cakes for little kids like that, like real little guys, and you're doing animals, I don't know why, but 3 toes is always just cuter than 4 or 5 or whatever, it just is. I don't know why, but 3 is the cuter number. So once you get the paws ready, then you're going to put them aside, let them set up a little bit, and we'll do the front paws. The front paws were way more basic. As you can see, it's kind of just like, I don't know, a humped over circle, because the idea is his paws are going to be touching underneath of his nose, so they're kind of tucked in on himself, almost like a cat would sit rather than a dog. So that's, I don't know what shape that is. It's a paw shape. It's curved. It's very curved, though. It's flat on the one end, but then very curved. Again, matching them up to each other so they're as much the same size as you can do. Back of the knife blade again to make the 2 marks to separate it into 3 toes. And I'm just setting them up here. I'm going to take them off because we're going to start doing the piping. But I just wanted you to get the idea of it so you can kind of feel where they're going. This also will show me if they're too big or too small or whatever. But if you're going for a puppy, then big paws is usually what you want. Now, this almost gave me like carpal tunnels doing this piping. It's just white buttercream or vanilla, white buttercream icing. And it's a tip that you can find. I don't know what they call it. It makes grass or fur. It's just a bunch of little holes in the tip. And you just freaking start piping and you don't stop. And you just keep going and going and going. And you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. Otherwise, you will be so, so sorry. And if you have any edge like that you're connecting, like I connected the paws on, so put the paws on and then pull the icing over top of the edge of the paw to hide the seam. You see how I'm kind of doing it there? At this point, I was like, oh, so over this cake. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just pulling the fur up and over the pads of the paws a little bit there, just to hide it, like I said, blend it in together better. The ears, there's my wristband because it was really hurting my wrist. The ears are gum paste. I just rolled out some strips, flat on one end, curved the other end like a rectangle, but curved on one end, and just flop them over and bend them. The muzzle was 2 pieces of white gum paste with a little flat tongue. It's just a half a circle with a line down it for the tongue. The white is like a crescent moon with one wedge in it to give them kind of a little snoot, and just press it in place with a little bit underneath. Again, any part you put on there, just start adding white to blend it in around the edge so you don't see that seam as clearly. And it was killing me. You see my hand shaking. Like, yeah, these people are friends of mine I mentioned, and I don't think I would ever make a cake like this unless I used a way softer buttercream. This was just your standard butter, powdered sugar, vanilla, and cream. Because it was going to be outside. This cake was from August, toward the end of August, so it was hot outside, and I was afraid of it getting melty, so I tried to make the icing really thick, and I darn near broke myself doing it. As you can see, his nose was just black and adorable, and the eyes are black circles with little white highlights on them. I don't know if I like how this came out, honestly. I trimmed off the bottom, as you can see there, just to kind of make it look a little more friendly, like, I just don't know. Maybe they should have been lower toward the muzzle or further apart or smaller even. So take a look at what I did and make it better if you decide to do it. And again, just like before, start piping some icing, some fur around his eyes. I kind of filled him in because I wanted him to look really shaggy. And again, I don't know if I liked it that much, but whatever. It worked. His tail, I just dragged out the icing even more, just a little nubby tail. He didn't need much. And now I added some gray outlines to it. It's the same icing, I just added a little black food coloring to it to make it gray. Yeah, you can see I started doing like around the paws, around his ears. You can see there his eyebrows and his nose are done. I felt like there was too much white, so I wanted to add some contrast to it, but I don't know if I went overboard, so, decide for yourselves, guys. I do like the spot on his back, though. And once you got the fur on, you got your dog. Put a number 1 on it, whatever you need to do, the name, and you got yourself a cute little shaggy dog cake. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, I hope you liked this. I hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe. If you make anything, I would love to see it. Hint, hint. And thank you again for watching Caketastic Cakes.